All right, let's take a look here at number 6. And what we have here, sorry, this image is kind of being blocked by the plaything, but you've got these 1/4 inch cubes right here, and you want to fill it into this giant prism shown right here. And this is a much more square prism than it looks. This is just from copying. It looks a little distorted, but assume that this is a rectangular prism. And you want to know how many small cubes are needed to completely fill the rectangular prism. So this is really an area question, or I'm sorry, a volume question, right? Anytime you think about filling something with cubes, you're talking about volume. So this is something that is going to be in the calculator. No, this is the non-calculator section. So we're going to have to do this in our head here. And what you want to think about is basically how many of these cubes can you fit across here? And that will give you basically the number for your width. And then how many of these cubes you can fit across here, and that'll give you another number for your width. And then finally, how many of these cubes can you fit across here? And that'll be another number for your width. So let's first figure out that 4.5 inches. How many times does 1/4 inch go into 4.5 inches? Well, we know how to divide by fractions, or we can just kind of count. It's really up to you. You could do the diagram method and count. So here would be how we would do our diagram method. You would basically divide this into 4.5. So let's say that this is going to be our 4 right here. This would be 4.5. This might not really be to scale. We would cut that guy in half there, that guy in half there, that guy in half there. It would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. And then every single one of these is going to be divided into 1/4 inches. So it would be 1, 2, 3/4 inches, 4/4 inches. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Every time I do 3 tick marks, I get 4 spaces. 2, 3, and then there would be 2 more quarters inside this half. And then you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Okay? So for those of you who don't like dividing fractions, you could just do this diagram method and say that our length, L, equals 18. And 18 what? Well, it's 18 1/4 inch cubes, which might seem confusing, but look at what the question is saying. How many small cubes are needed to completely fill the rectangular prism? So we want to answer in 1/4 inch cubes. You want that to be your unit. So it seems, we're used to just saying inches or, cubic inches or cubic meters. But in this case, it wants to know how much to fill in. So that's a perfectly acceptable unit to use, 18 1/4 inch cubes. And we'll just keep that consistent throughout. Now, I'm not going to draw another diagram. This time I'm going to use my division by fraction method. I'll use, let's use the common denominator method to figure out the width. How many 1/4 inch cubes will fit in the width. So we've got 5 inches, which we'll call 5/1. And then we want to divide that by 1/4 inch. And then, of course, the common denominator requires that we make both denominators even. So we're going to make this one equal 4. So I have to multiply by 4 here. And I have to multiply by 4 here. So that's going to become 20/4 divided by 1/4. And because the pieces are the same size now, we just need to divide the numerators. We don't worry that they're quarters anymore. The pieces are the same size. So 20 quarters, how many times does 1/4 go into 20/4? Well, it's the same as how much 1 goes into 20, and that is 20. 1 goes into 20 20 times. 20 1/4 inch cubes. And then finally, so that's going to be our width. It's going to be 20. And then finally, our last one is 3 3/4. I'm going to do the super giant. Actually, let's just do the algorithm for this one. 3 3/4. Double check that. Yeah, 3 3/4 inches equals, let's see, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 is 15/4. So we wanted mixed fractions. Divided by 1/4 is the same as saying 15 divided by 4 times 4/1. And we know we can do that because of the supergiant 1 method, but this algorithm just flipping and multiplying right here, I just flip this guy over. I multiply by the reciprocal. 15 times 4 is 60 over 4, and that equals 15. And you could also maybe have noticed, hey, this 4 and this 4 are going to cancel each other out. So it's going to become 15 over 1. And so this height right here, not to scale at all, is 15. Okay, so there are 18 quarter-inch cubes will fit along the length, 20 quarter-inch cubes will fit along the width, and 15 will go along the height. Unfortunately, you are stuck with no calculator, so you have to multiply 18 by 20 by 15, which I trust that you can do. I'm going to do it on my calculator, because let's not be crazy here. 18 times 20 times 15, and my answer is 5,400 quarter-inch cubes. Remember, when you answer these questions with these bubbles, you want to start, your 5 would start right here, then 4, 0, and 0. Make sure you fill it along the top as well.